tonight we are very happy. It's our great pleasure. We have King DeLeon give us a speech and to share his secret of his success. Let's welcome King.
Ni hao and good evening. It is my great pleasure. Oh, thank you very much. Please stop it, stop it. Oh no, stop it, stop. Oh, I'm gonna dance. You're gonna make me dance. So keep that up. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Truly my great honor to be here tonight to have an amazing business partner, mutual success, not only to ourselves but to everyone in this room. And tonight it is my great honor to share with you some of the secrets of my success. And you may have expected more of kind of a business marketing presentation, but actually I'd like to share with you some of the personal reasons why I think I've succeeded. And my goal tonight is I'm going to answer two fundamental questions. And through answering these questions, I was able to understand myself and have both personal and then professional success. And those two questions, these are some of the most important questions ever posed. Questions that theologians, philosophers, great thinkers have debated for thousands of years. The first question is, what is the purpose of life? I'll answer that tonight. More importantly, I'm going to answer an even deeper question. Why? Why do bad things happen? To sexy people! Because this is a very sexy audience. And yet I know some bad things have happened to you. And dare I say it, I've had some bad things happen to me in my life. But you know what they say. What does not kill you makes you sexier. So tonight I'm going to share with you, I'm going to go through three tragedies that I've been through in my life. And these three tragedies have changed me, but they've actually improved me. And by sharing and talking about these three tragedies, more importantly, the innumerable triumphs I've learned from these tragedies, I hope that I can be a mirror to reflect your greatness and take you to the next level. And I entered real estate in my early 30s. And I was #1 in America still in my late 30s. And I think it was through overcoming these tragedies and what I learned from that helped project me to that level. And if you're a great audience, which I already know you are, I might even share a few dance moves with you. To move forward, I'd like to talk about my first tragedy. Very unique. It ended up making nationwide news. USA Today, CNN, Howard Stern even talked about it. And what it was, I just graduated law school from Berkeley. And I had a job offer from some amazing law firms, but I just taken past the California bar. But before starting the law firm, I had a 2-week vacation, and I went to visit my parents in South Florida near Miami, Boca Raton, Florida. And when I went on a walk with my father, and this walk, it nearly took, and it forever changed my life. And let me tell you about it now. So there I was, just walking along with my father, having a good time, talking about how exciting life can be. But behind us, a car, speeding car going about 45 miles per hour, veered off the road and slammed into my right leg, and it smashed me through up here. And you can actually see some of the scar tissue here. But before people get too excited, nothing in life is free. For the lovely ladies, if you want to touch it, it's $5. Just means 10. Sorry, major credit cards are accepted though. No free lunches in this world. But the car hit me right here, shattered my fibula and tibia. And the amazing part, why it made nationwide news, it actually launched me upward. I catapulted through the car, and you can see, don't you hate it when the makeup artist is late for the shoot? I look terrible here. Come on now, clean that up, clean that up. But you can really see, it ended up being battered and bruised. And then we can maybe take it off now just so people can focus on the man himself. But it ended up, the amazing part, it launched me upward. And I smashed up over the car, I smashed through the windshield. And actually, thankfully my shoulder took the blow. There's still a titanium rod here in my shoulder, but not my head. So I'm no more brain damage than I was before the accident. But I smashed through the windshield, and I ended up inside the car. And there I am, actually, in the passenger seat, where just a few seconds earlier, talking with my father, smashed here in the passenger seat, and I'm screaming in some of the worst pain I've ever felt. But I feel new blows coming down upon me. And with my one good hand, I push myself up and I look to the left. And it's a vision I'll never forget. For the driver is driving with his left hand, but then beating me with his right hand. And I can look at the driver, and he's completely sweating, and his eyes are totally dilated. And I realize he's on some sort of crazy drugs, and my life's on the line. So I start trying to block his punches, and I start pleading with him, stop the car, I'm hurt, stop the car, what are you doing? And he starts screaming at me, get out, and hitting me with this animalistic hatred. We're weaving in and out of traffic, because at this point he hit me on the sidewalk. I was walking on the sidewalk with my father when he hit me. We go back onto the streets, and we're weaving in and out of traffic for 3 miles, running red lights, going the whole way. The whole time he's beating me and blocking his punches, worried he's going to push me out of the moving car and kill me then. But finally, we hit a red light after 3 miles where there were cars stopped at every way, so I couldn't get past him. He couldn't keep moving. So with my one good hand, I open up the door, and I try and get out. But broken leg, broken arm, I can't get out. He pushes me out. I tumble down on my backside. And there I am, and he screeches away. And there I am on the ground, and I can see that my arm's completely contorted backwards, and the greater pain's in my leg. And I realized then and there my life had changed. And who I was just a few minutes earlier was now a different person. With my one good hand, I'm waving it in the air saying, help me, please come. And the paramedics and the police come at roughly the same time. And I still remember, while the paramedics were dressing my wounds, I look up and there's the 2 police officers towering above me. And they say, what happened to you? And I tell them I was walking with my father. I ended up being hit by a car. The driver was beating me. And then I finally ended up here. And I heard the 2 officers whisper to each other, he's in shock. They simply couldn't believe it. But then I repeated the story to them verbatim, and they realized that this accident victim, over 3 miles away, was myself. And they took me to the hospital. And the story continues, where after my father, after I was hit, my father, he was barely grazed. He had some road rash from the tire hit his leg, but he was okay. And he starts running after the car, thinking my attacker would stop. But my attacker, when he kept going, my father looked back and there was a bus driver. The bus driver saw the accident. My father flagged down the bus driver and gave chase. But then my attacker eluded the bus. When he ran a red light, my father had to get out and call 911. And the final part of the story is my attacker, after he hit me, he's just trying to get away. He is weaving in and out of traffic still. And at this point, this happened in Miami Beach area where I grew up. And he takes his car, and usually there's a boat ramp. Usually you would take your car and reverse your boat into it. He actually took his car and just drove it right in. It's found by a jet skier during the next low tide. But at this point, my attacker is soaking wet. So then he strips down, takes off his t-shirt, and he just has his underwear on. And he starts running. He looks just a little bit suspicious, as you can imagine. Because he's bleeding from the glass shards, and he's in his underwear. So then the police go, and then there's all these 911 calls that go out. There's this very strange man in my neighborhood. And the police get him, and they find him crouching in an alleyway. And from there, they end up, this work is fortuitous. The police find him, and they want to take him, they realize he's on drugs, but they should take him to the hospital. And then there, they take him to the same hospital I'm at. And the police who are there interviewing my father and myself said, Ken, we think we found your attacker. He completely matches your description, and he's glass shards wounds. So I said, oh, and before I identify him, I need you to strap him down. So they strapped him down, and they took us in our 2 stretchers. There we were. We're both lying down, strapped down, and then our eyes connect, and there's instantaneous recognition. And then he starts squirming, trying to get away, and I'm like, that's him. That's my attacker. And then they ID'd him, and they found out who he was. He had just been arrested 2 days earlier on drug felony charges. And it was on a Monday afternoon when he hit me. But he was on horse tranquilizers, kind of a PCP variant, ecstasy, speed, and marijuana. And we found out from the judge, why was he hitting me? In his paranoid mind, I was an attacker from the sky, and he was defending himself, and that's why he's screaming, get out, get out. But the point is, my life had changed. And then the question is, when life happens, when bad things happen to you in life, how do you react to it? And I thought, there are 3 common reactions. You could feel sorry for yourself. You could say, why do bad things happen to sexy